Hello, I'm Rick Steiner. Welcome to Lux Life Discovered. My guest today is Trevor Harbers, and he has a new business called the Lobby Bar LLC. So, Trevor, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Good. I'll tell you what, you and I met. It's been, I don't even know when it was. It's been a couple or
I think
3 years ago at the
that's
bar at Embassy Suites there in Jonesboro. And how long have you been with that bar?
so. I was with them for 5 years. We opened up probably, I think the grand opening was a week before COVID happened, and then things sort of got wonky through COVID, and we just brought that bar to life coming out of that.
Well, you not only brought it to life, that's one of the best bars in that whole hotel group, right?
hmm
Yeah,
Yep, we were one of the most profitable bars there. We sort of turned it from a hotel bar into a hangout spot, a property that locals were coming to, and it sort of gained its popularity that way.
right. And when we've been there, we're usually there on the weekends for an event or something, and we go down, and it's amazing to see the good response from the community, like you're talking about. And you have
hmm
music, and it's not just guests that are there; it's the community, and that speaks volumes too, because there are a lot of other options they have, but they choose your bar for a reason.
Yep. I've been bartending in Jonesboro for about 17 years. So I've had my locals and my followers follow me from bar to bar to bar to bar. So
Well, I was going to say you've done this for a while, and you do have a following, which is really nice because you give that extra attention, but also your knowledge of the drinks and stuff. That's not you're not just serving a drink or a beer or wine or whatever. You really make it fun and bring some neat creations to life.
yeah, it came into it. The previous experience before the hotel was craft bartending, and I started doing bartending contests and that kind of stuff to really hone in and try different things, try mixing flavors and flavor pairings, and it's really helped start this new business where I'm building cocktails for corporate events or for weddings, and
Right.
you take in what they really like and you build the drink, but you're also building an atmosphere for the guest with those cocktails.
Right. And talk about your new business then, the lobby bar. Tell
Uh,
us.
so so with the lobby bar, I sort of just became the face of the lobby bar at the hotel that I was at. And so I just took it, ran with that name. We do corporate events. I've done a couple here in Arkansas and in Tennessee. I've done weddings. I think I'm in 9 states now that I've bartended weddings for. So I'm slowly growing that. I'm going to try to be eligible to bartend in all 50 states soon so I can bartend wherever I'm needed.
That's great. So, are you still at the hotel?
I left them in February.
Okay, I didn't realize that. So yeah, okay, well, that's their loss for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, so you were telling us before we went on air, you're sampling or the drink that you sampled. Kind of talk about that again, because that's something I didn't know you could do that, infuse that with the
So, so I love to travel. We always talk. I'm always going to the beach or going somewhere, going to Orlando with the Epcot and Universal, the new Epic Universe that they just opened up. They have some great cocktails, a part of their hotel chain, and I like figuring out what they did and building the drinks. And they had a cocktail that really was different to me. And so I made it at home and tried it out. It was gin, Saint Germain, lemon juice, and then they infused honey with feta cheese. So for me, I took that honey, threw some feta cheese in there, and I mixed it all up, tossed it in my sous vide, and let it cook for about 2, 3 hours. Really infuse those flavors, and then filtered it all out. And it takes away the sweetness, and it infuses the honey with that silky smooth cheese flavor. made it more savory than sweet. So when you make that cocktail, it just came out perfect.
That sounds good. Yeah. So and the reason I want you to bring that up is because you're not just a bartending service. It's like when you have that ability to bring the unique, like signature drinks or whatever that a client wants, then you're able to provide that.
Yeah, it's really on what they want. If they want me to create a cocktail that they've never thought of, or if they're a business, if they're selling rice, I can make a drink out of rice. If they're selling cheese, I can make a drink out of cheese. And it's doing those things that people don't think of how to work those into cocktails, just makes that experience a lot more exciting for the guest
Right.
to try something new.
Well, see, I would have never thought about that. So that's pretty interesting to know that you could do that and to make it where it's an experience. It's not just getting
Hmm.
drinks at an event; it's an experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Bartending has turned more into a science recently. It's chemistry now. So it's turning taking, citric acid and malic acid and infusing that with lemon or lime peels to help make super juices now. That way your juices last longer. And you can get more consistent flavor rather than juicing one lime at a time. And one lime is bitter and one lime isn't. So it's really getting technical with a lot of things, but it's made the bar industry uh, more concise and easier to play with flavors because now you can infuse things.
All right, when you describe your business to a potential client, what kind of response are you getting?
It's one of those ones everybody knows what bartending is, and it's just taking that bartending experience and, taking it from, a pub bar feel to making it elegant for the event. A lot of the events we do, it's weddings and the bar part is an afterthought after the dress and the flowers and everything like that. And we want to make the lobby bar uh, some not the centerpiece of the wedding, but we want to be a huge piece that really changes the atmosphere and people remember what we do or how we did it and everything like that. So when we do weddings, we love the feedback and we love that we are able to book those bridesmaids end up using us for their weddings
Right.
years later or a year later. So it's really fun to watch it grow.
So when a bride and groom talk to you about doing their reception at their wedding, how do you like determine like if they want to have a signature drink in addition to like beer and wine? How do you like what steps do you go through to make sure you're getting a signature drink that really reflects their personality? I mean, I would say maybe it sound like a simple question, but to me it'd be like a complex process because you're trying to fit everybody's likes in there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so we have a couple different ways we go about it. The simplest way is what's your favorite drink? What do you like? And talking to them, when they say something that's simple, oh, I just like, a vodka, cranberry, uh, uh, something simple. I say we can do that. We can keep it simple. Or do you want to take that same drink and now we can infuse it? I can take the color out of the cranberry and make it clear. That way, your colors, your themes, everything like that. Your color is actually blue. We can make a blue cranberry juice or a blue cocktail and match it as close as possible to what you're doing. But if you want us to create a completely different cocktail, we go through about, what are your themes of your wedding? What do you envision? That kind of stuff for creating that cocktail. So it's taking what they really like, those favorite simple cocktails, and, churching them up, making them look fancier than what they would normally drink. Lemon drops are really popular to do. but they're very basic. But doing a lavender infused lemon drop where it's a light purple, and the bridesmaid's dresses are that light purple, really just sets things off.
Okay. Good. So how did you come up with this creativity and the desire to do this? Because yeah, it's one thing to think that'd be cool, but then it's another, you know, thing to be able to do it and do it well.
I really fell into it from bartending. Earlier in my nightclub days, you weren't getting creative. You were just knocking out drinks as quick as possible. Once you get into like fine dining and craft bartending, you really have people being specific about what they want. And when you're creating drinks of the month or drinks of the week, if you're doing something different than the bar is, two doors down, people will come and see you for what you're doing next. So it was really what is coming next. I love being in Arkansas because we're a little behind where everybody else is. So the trend in Texas is always, 7, 8 months ahead of Jonesboro. So I get to, I have friends in Texas and I get to peek at what they're doing. And then I get to really have time to modify and really put my own touch on what's coming next to the area.
That's true. Okay, good, good. So, and then how in the world do you learn about all the different types of alcohol and liquor and all that? That's, I mean, that knowledge is vast and, you know, there's so much of it and so many things being introduced now all the time.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. It's really guest feedback and just researching. I am really a fan of a good, pretty bottle. If the bottle looks really pretty, I'm going to investigate it. And when I do liquor orders and I was finding out what's next, I would, hop online and just see one, what bottle is going to catch my eye because that's what's going to catch on the shelf. And then from there, doing the research, look at the reviews because you can have a great bottle and the reviews are horrible and it's not worth the investment. Or if you are investing in that bottle, make sure you don't buy 4 or 5 of those bottles, get one and try it out. But
Right.
just it's all about what the guests like. I don't drink much at all, so it's one of those ones. I go off of what my guests, when I'm creating cocktails, I'm trying the non-alcoholic versions and everything like that, and then I'm taking those to the regulars that I've had for 15, 20 years of hey, I got a new cocktail for you to try, come out to the bar, or I'll go to them and let's see what this works or how this works. What's your feedback on it?
Okay, interesting. Well, I'll send you a link to a place on 30A that I think you'd like too. I just ran across it the other day now that you said about the bottles and stuff. So
Hmm.
I'll send that to you because I think you'd appreciate that. Um, so you're working to be licensed and certified in all 50 states. And how
Yeah.
many have you accomplished so far? Because you've reached quite a few already.
I'm at 23 states right now, so
Wow.
it's one of those ones. It is the most boring thing that I have to do. Uh,
But
it's
necessary, yeah.
it's all, if it could all be one thing to watch, they're all 3-hour videos that you just have to click through, and it's all the same information. But each state just wants to make sure that you watched their video on how to do it and then take their test and pass their test. So I've learned the same thing over and over and over, and I have more to go. So
One state's gonna throw a curve at you and you're gonna be like, wait, that's not right.
I
Yeah,
will be I will be happy with some new information.
that's great. Well, and that's something too that a lot of venues are requiring now to have a certified bartender.
Hmm.
And that, I would say even 3 or 4 years ago, we were doing a wedding and at a venue in Arkansas and they wanted a certified bartender and there was nobody to contact that was in state.
Oh,
It's crazy.
I mean, Arkansas is one of those states, they don't have a necessary certification or anything like that, but they have one that if you want to get it, you can go ahead and get it, but it's not mandatory for anything.
Right.
But Some places just require you to get it. They also want to make sure. I mean, for me, I love being certified and I love being insured. So having both just really helped, take that no out of it. So,
That's true, yeah. Um, so what's been one of your most creative drinks that you've made? Or, well, what's
oh,
been one of your most creative? What's been one of your most challenging?
I've really had fun with playing with spicy margaritas. It's one
Okay.
of those ones everybody throws jalapenos in there, but it's creating flavors. One of my favorite ones was I made a blueberry jalapeno margarita, and I
Interesting.
got the flavor from a barbecue rub. It was a blueberry jalapeno, and I was like, I never thought of those flavors working, so I made a blueberry jalapeno syrup, and it just really works well. The tartness with the heat, it's a really great balance.
I would have
Um,
never thought about that.
yeah, yeah. Other good ones I've had old fashions are really fun to play with. So again, it comes from something else I've done. I was eating a Pop Tart and I had a brown cinnamon sugar Pop Tart, and I turned that into an old fashioned, made a brown cinnamon sugar old fashioned, or a cold brew coffee old fashioned. So it's taking your base drink, that old fashioned, and infusing flavors that you know normally aren't in that cocktail.
All right, for those that don't know what infusing flavors, explain that process.
So it really matters on the infusion process. Like that cocktail with the honey and cheese, infusing is literally putting cheese into the honey, emulsifying, blending it up. And then for the process I used, I tossed it in a sous vide where it just sits in heated water. You're not cooking it, you're just warming it up for a couple of hours. And then you run it through a filter, a cheesecloth, and take everything out. And it is just a fine, silky syrup. But infusing is just getting those flavors into what you want. I do it a lot with bourbon, infusing it. You put whatever you know you want in there, like with the brown cinnamon sugar old fashioned. I put butter in the whiskey, and I let that sit for a couple of days. And then you freeze it, run it through a filter, and it has that buttery taste to it. So when you make that cocktail with the brown sugar and the cinnamon, it really has that pastry taste to it.
Interesting. So are you pleased when you, I mean, I know you'd be pleased when your clients are pleased, but are you, like, what's the biggest surprise that you received from a client? Because I'm sure
Oh,
that some people think, my gosh, I can't believe this is even possible. Yeah, that type thing.
yeah, it's one of those ones when you can match the drink to what it's supposed to taste like. Not just, oh, it tastes like a cocktail that, has a little hint of this. I want that cocktail to taste what it was supposed to be like. If I'm eating pizza, I want it to taste like pizza. So it's one of those ones, having a cocktail taste and really hit that sensory note of bringing back a childhood memory of, I remember eating apple pie, I remember eating brown cinnamon sugar pop tarts. That's exactly what it tastes like. It's really a sensory thing from smell and taste.
Yeah. All right. That's interesting. I'm sitting here, all this is going through my mind. I would have, gosh, it's so far out of my league. I wouldn't even know that how to do any of that. But it's interesting that you have that ability and can actually do all of that and make it work, because not
Yeah.
everybody can do that.
Yeah, it's really just watching the science of how bartending has changed, and getting creative with how to extract flavors and that kind of stuff. Taking tomatoes and freezing them, and then sort of chopping them up while they're frozen, and then letting them thaw out and drip the tomato water out of there, gives you a uh, uh, tomato water, and you can use that in cocktails. So it's not a thick Bloody Mary, but you still have that tomato taste. Uh, was something I wouldn't have thought of until I saw a cocktail use that technique, and you take that and then you figure out how to, make a dirty martini with that tomato water. Now it almost tastes like a caprese salad with the olive oil and the tomato juice, and work in some mozzarella cheese in there. You're good to go.
Wow. Wow. All right. You're making me thirsty, man. So
Yeah, that's what we need.
that's right. No doubt. So you were talking about your contest earlier. How did those begin? And what all type of contests have you done with bartending?
So I've done a couple of contests that are statewide. A lot of them are uh, uh, cocktail contests where they give you sort of a parameter of what you need to do. If it's a whiskey contest, make a whiskey cocktail. If it's a Bloody Mary, make a Bloody Mary. But be creative with it. So I got into it. I was working at a craft bar, and it was a very local project. And the bartender who taught me, he had won it the year before. So we went into it. He was at the booth right next to me, and we both created cocktails. He created this beautiful blood orange cocktail, and I created a brown sugar, or a wild berry brown sugar lemonade with Buffalo Trace in there. And it was just a good, smooth, summery drink. And guests liked it. It's one of those ones. It was a people's choice kind of thing, but I've done ones where you have judges and you're sending up drinks up to judges, and then I've done those weird online contests where it feels like American Idol, where people are just voting for you and that kind of stuff as well. And that's where I really noticed I had a following, because I was in uh, the last one I was in, I think there were 31,000 people in the contest, and I got in the top 50. So it was a
Wow.
really, really good contest to find out how many people really support you.
So what kind of advice would you give to someone starting into bartending and they really had no clue that this type of bartending exists, because it's more not just bartending, it's a skill.
Yep. Uh, People starting out bartending, learn your classic cocktails. Every drink you're going to make is a version of that classic cocktail. So learning, your margaritas and your daiquiris and everything like that. And then when you go from that, the creation or creative process is all taking that cocktail, that basic cocktail, and making it your own, adding flavors that really pair well with whatever drink or whatever liquor you're adding to it. But it's knowing the basics. You have a lot of bartenders, they can really make you a good, their favorite drink, but they couldn't tell you what an old fashioned was, or what uh, a Negroni is. And it's all, you have to learn those basic cocktails before you move into this.
Right. So um gosh, I don't know. I'm thinking about some of those drinks you mentioned, and we're gonna have to do like a in studio class like we were talking about before, where
Yeah,
we're at the bar, we're doing the podcast, but it's also a show and learn at the same time.
we could
That
do something like that.
yeah, that would be sharp. So you love traveling, you love the beach,
Yeah.
and so um, we'll have your information up in just a minute. So make sure you contact Trevor, because you're like me. I travel all the time, so I'm not afraid to work out of town, out of state. I love that, and that's more of a trend today. And so it's like we have our base location, but then we're on the go. We like to make things happen. How did that become an interest to you?
I really just love to travel, and it was one of those ones. I was trying to figure out ways on, to see new places, but you know, have it paid for. So when I do weddings and I bartend weddings, it helps me get pay for the travel to get to those locations, and then I stay an extra 3 4 days and visit the city, or just enjoy the beach with my dog. So it's one of those ones, anything to get me in the sand.
All right, good deal. Well, we're going to put your information on the screen, but go ahead and tell people how to reach you. They'll see it, but just kind of go over that as well. And that way, anybody that's interested in a bartender, not just a bartender, a skilled bartender with excellent skills and crafts to make your event the next level, make sure you reach out to Trevor, and your information should be up.
Yep. As you can see on the screen, it's the Lobby Bar on email and Instagram. We're building a TikTok page that will be up soon as well. Watch us create videos, but we are huge on corporate events. We're huge on weddings, and we just want to get out there. We are diving into the bar consulting business as well. So if you have a bar that needs some help building a menu or anything like that, reach out and we'll, bar rescue it and help build the bar up and bring some money in.
All right, good deal. Well, Trevor, thanks for taking the time to be with us today, man. I appreciate it. Always good to visit with you. Look
You too.
forward to all that you have going, and I'm excited you're going to be at the SEG Bridal Show in Jonesboro this fall, September
Yeah.
21st. So we're going to showcase a lot of things there as well. So that concludes our episode of Lux Life Discovered. So we will see you soon.